Let me tell you how I got fired before I even started my job. Now, I know that sounds crazy. You're like, how did you get fired before you even started your job? That's almost like Craig, like, how do you get fired on your day off? Those that don't know, that's a Friday reference. But what wound up happening and how I wound up getting fired before I even started work was like this. I was given an opportunity in a job, and I won't disclose the name, people, location, or the business that it was that I was going to be working at. But there was a conversation I had with the manager and so forth, and I wound up, having an interview and so forth on the spot. And this happened last week on the 4th of July. During the midst of having that interview and so forth, everything was all cool. Explained my situation to the manager. Actually, also met another manager as well, and I thought like, okay, everything was all copacetic. There was no issues at all. They asked for my information, sent them over my personal information, even though it was via text, which I found to be weird, but it's not the first time I sent my information in a not so secure type of way. So anyways, back to the story here. So after that information, I, sent text messages and so forth to ask and follow up about like, what would be needed to do what needs to be done. Like, what time do I show up for work? What's the days? What's my schedule? This, and the third. After a series of text messages, the confirmation, talking back and forth, I thought everything was all cool and copacetic. Now, last week and so forth, on the Friday, day after the 4th of July, I was given a call to go ahead and come in. Mind you, I never signed any W-9 paperwork, never signed anything whatsoever, and I was asked to go ahead and come in. I said I wasn't even in a position to come in because I thought that I was going to start Monday at night. That wound up not being the case at all. And I think that's where the whole story starts to descend from there. After that moment where, the manager was like, all right, cool, we don't come in, so forth. I'll see you on Monday. Now we roll around to Monday, so now we're here on Monday. And now I get a text message saying that like, oh, hey, the training day has changed. I'm over here thinking like, okay, training day has changed, whatever the case may be, what's going on? When I asked him about the time and the day, it was moved up for me working at my shift at night up until 3 p.m. And my original shift was at 11 p.m. And I immediately drew a problem with that because the thing is that me and my wife, like, we don't necessarily have our own place to stay. If I had my own place to stay, it wouldn't be a problem. But my wife is left here with both of our sons, and I thought, like, working at night would have been beneficial based upon what we talked and established, and us doing that would have all worked out. Why? Because then my kids would be asleep, my wife wouldn't have to worry about it. So what winds up happening is that we're talking about this situation over the phone because we wound up, getting in contact after a few text messages were exchanged. Then we're talking on the phone. This is where the part it gets crazy. It gets very heated on the phone. This lady's basically trying to treat me like I'm just trash, that I'm extremely desperate because I'm temporarily out of a home. I'm not desperate for nothing because God is my provider. Jehovah Jireh will always provide all of my needs. And basically, she just wanted a lackey, someone that would listen to her, and she just thought that I was desperate. That is my assumption. I could be completely wrong, but despite all that, what winds up happening next is that after, going back and forth, she wasn't really allowing me to talk. I'm trying to tell her, I said, I'm going based upon what you told me, what was written down. I'm basically trying to keep her accountable for her own word. But instead of her wanting to take accountability for that, she wants to get frustrated. She said, this relationship ain't gonna work out. I wasn't ready for this relationship to work out because I'm not in a relationship with you. I'm in a relationship with my wife and God. So after being on the phone, she winds up hanging up on me. But the crazy thing about all of this is that I'm in all the company apps. I haven't been removed or anything like that. I don't even know if I'm supposed to show up to my job at 11 p.m. because I didn't get kicked off or booted off any of the apps that connect with the business and so forth. But I did something else instead. The very thing that I did is that I decided to go ahead and look up the company information, and I went ahead and I found the CEO. Not only did I find the CEO, I went ahead and reached out to the CEO on LinkedIn, and I also went ahead and reached out to the CEO inside of the company app. What will take place after that? I have no idea. But when I got added onto the platform, I put in my bio, "Am I hired?" ? I'm not trying to be petty, not trying to be facetious or anything like that. All I want to know is that why aren't we just working and making things easy? But see, I want to tell you all this. What God has for you is for you. And like, if it was meant for me to work at this place, God would have allowed everything to be smooth, would have opened it up. But one person tried to make it difficult for me, thinking that I needed this job and thinking that she was the gatekeeper for everything. And I'm going to tell you this. I do not care about anything. God has been providing all of my needs, and he will do in Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask, think, according what? To the power that works within us, and the power of the Holy Spirit and the faith that I have in God. And that is how I got fired before I even started my job. And if you want to go ahead and support us, do me all a favor. Go ahead and tap the link in the bio, we are trying to transition into a house or to a home, whatever the case may be, and we need money for furniture, need money to actually, put a down payment or whatever the case may be to get in there. So guys, please, we appreciate all your donations, whether it be through GoFundMe, Venmo, whatever the case may be. Share this video with other people. It wasn't like I wasn't trying. I actually had an opportunity to work, had a job, and I was already fired before I started because this person had issue with me. And really, it's not even the person, it was the spirit behind the person. That's why Ephesians 6:12 is so important. It says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and rulers of darkness. Okay? So thank you all for your support and supporting me and my family. And yeah, hit that donate, share this. I want this thing to go mad viral.